Hi, welcome to Rocky Mountain Views. I'm your host, Martha Thompson, and today we have as our guest Laura Chickering-Knapp. Laura, welcome. Happy to have you here. The organization that Laura is with is One Nation Walking Together, and I guess let's just start out talking about what the organization does. So we'll give our viewers just an idea, and because I know to try to even cover the scope of what you do would take an entire series. So let's try to touch on at least a little bit, though, of what you do.
Okay. One Nation Walking Together serves 11 reservations in 7 western states. We also serve urban natives from Denver down to Walsenburg, Canyon City, Pueblo, so throughout the Front Range.
Okay. And what would be then the needs of, because I'm sure, the needs are very different from Native Americans who are living on a reservation versus those who are living in Springs, Pueblo, etc. Are they different or are they the same?
Actually, Native Americans are the poorest of the poor, whether they live on the reservation or they live in urban areas.
Really?
Yes. On the reservation, they live in third world conditions. Many don't have homes, many don't have transportation. 50% of natives don't have transportation, and that is here in the urban areas as well.
Okay. That part, I'm sure you're going to need to correct me on quite a few things, because I do believe that even those of us who try really hard to be informed because we care, there are some, there's just information out there that has been said so many times that it's now taken as truth, but is not factual at all. So you're probably going to need to correct me a few times on some things. But I was thinking that life on a reservation would be far more challenging than it would be if someone were living in the city. So that's what I was thinking. But obviously, as you're telling me, still, if you don't have an education and you don't have a vehicle, et cetera, life's going to be pretty tough.
It is pretty tough. There are differences. On the reservation, many homes don't have electricity, they don't have sewer, there's no heat, whereas urban Indians, when they come here, hopefully they can find a home where there are the more modern conveniences, what we think of as modern conveniences. On the reservation, there could be 17 people living in a home. I've seen a home on the reservation that had 17 people living in it. The house was off its foundation due to a tornado, so the house had been condemned. The siding was peeling off of the home. There were holes in the walls. Mice were coming in and rattlesnakes were coming in after them. Tiny children live in this home to elders.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, it's tragic, the conditions that they live in on the reservations. The unemployment rate is 80 to 90%, so many of the natives living on reservations are coming into urban areas in hopes of finding a job. They leave the reservation with nothing and they're coming here with nothing. So the challenges are really tough for them when they're here. But at least there's more of a chance of them finding a job, hopefully, here than on the reservation. Their culture is very rich. They are very tied to their land, so they prefer to stay there, but it's just daunting what they face.
Well, there's no doubt. And I guess my questions, first off, on the reservations, why is it that schooling is so poor? Why, where are we failing as a society What? How is this even happening in this day and age?
Yeah, I think that's the real question is, how can we have third world conditions in our country? You know, the great United States, and we're, yes, we have people that don't have plumbing. We have people that aren't having meals, that don't have food and proper nutrition, that face such daunting conditions. The unemployment rate, as I said, is 80%. The people don't have transportation. The infant mortality rate is 5 times the national average, and that's including birth defects as well. Diabetes rate is 8 times the national average. 61% of the people that live on reservations are under 18 years old. So
you say that again?
61% living on the reservation are youth.
Oh, good heavens.
Right. So, you know, I think it's, for me, you know, I want to help. I want to do what I can to help this situation that's just so daunting for these people. So what we do at One Nation Walking Together is we load 53-foot semi-trailers with gifts of hope, from furniture.
It's amazing.
Furniture, food, hygiene items, clothing, things of need. These items go to the reservations that we serve, and these people, when they receive these items, there are tears in their eyes to know that someone cares about you enough to take an item and bring it to our organization, and then we load it on a truck and it comes to them. Maybe it's a refrigerator, maybe it's a coat. Many die of hypothermia every year. Can that possibly be happening here in the United States, that people are dying of hypothermia? It's just tragic. So I've seen the tears in their eyes. I've seen the gratefulness that they have when we send a truck to their reservation. If we can provide a smile, if we can give them the gratefulness that it makes the next day easier.
Well, it would, and a huge part of that is simply saying that I see you.
Absolutely.
I know that, you know, whether we're speaking of Native Americans on a reservation or we're talking about homeless people in our town, these are people who feel invisible, and they don't feel that they matter, and actually that we prefer that they be invisible. So when someone is recognized and said, and we say, I see you and I honor you, you matter, it's the door to things are possible.
Yes.
You know, if we can get to it's possible, then we can start really making some head.
Yes.
You know, if we can, because that hope is what drives, I think, most of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. We all need friends. We all need love. We all need to know
Connection.
that someone cares. And really it ties into their culture so much. They believe that we are one. You know, they believe in the circle of life. They teach this. With a life expectancy of 47 years old for men and 52 years old for women, in a culture that really respects their elders, we're seeing that grandparents aren't there to help raise their grandchildren. They're not there to help pass along culture, their language, their history. It's very, very sad. So, along culture, there's gifts of hope. We can create a smile. We can create a connection and hopefully lift them up so that the next day is easier and that they can pass that on to their children. You know, it's just a wonderful feeling.
It is, and in going through, I actually printed this paperwork off of your site, and I actually was taking a look at things, and simply providing access to some basic medical care. Mortality rates are affected not simply by major disease such as diabetes and hypertension, not simply having no dental care available, right, causes a systemic infection and people die.
Yes.
So that's going to lower a lifespan. There are so many different things that you do that I think when we first started talking, that you said there are things that we think of as, you use the word necessities, you use the word of, I don't know, just something that we have a common expectation that, you know, of course that's going to be provided for us, that it's an expected luxury. These are anything but luxuries. You know,
Right.
this is having indoor plumbing.
Right.
Should not be an impossible request.
Absolutely.
Having help feed your children should not be something that we should have people begging for.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
this is what you do, and I so honor all the work that you do, and I know you're stretched very thin. Let's talk about this enormous staff that you have that covers all of the work that you do. This enormous staff to that.
We have, there are 5 of us that work at One Nation Walking Together.
Mhm.
4 of us are part-timers that are paid, and our 5th is our executive director who works for nothing. So we're open Tuesday through Friday from 9 to 3.
Okay.
We're very fortunate. We do have volunteers that come and help us. We're fortunate to have donors that have been with us for years that continue to bring us items, that search for items, that get school supplies for the kiddos. Right now we're loading trucks to bring school supplies and now Christmas items to entire families. But yes, it's tough as a staff to do the things that we'd like to do. We'd like to do so much more, but we just don't have the resources to send more trucks. We'd like to do that. We send a truck about every 4 to 6 weeks, just depending on what donations come in to fill that truck.
Right. And I also read, though, that you make sure that you don't just do a collect and drop.
Right.
You collect what people have said that they need, which, again,
Right.
on a surface level might not sound like a huge thing. Again, it's honoring you're showing respect for people.
Absolutely. And we show respect for their land, because we certainly wouldn't want to send an item that ends up getting landfilled, dumped somewhere. So we have them fill out a manifest, and it's a manifest of needs, and we don't send anything that they haven't. So coats to keep them warm, blankets, sheets, pots and pans to help in their kitchen, and appliances are always needed, furniture, beds. Many children sleep on a hard floor, or they sleep in a bed with their grandmother. There might be 4 or 5 people sleeping in one bed or in a bathtub. So beds are an important item.
Now, how do people, if they have the items, because the one thing that I know about our viewers that I've learned since we've started this show is they don't just care, they care deeply. And they're people that take action. They have huge hearts. I trust their goodness because they've shown themselves as showing up. So when they want to show up for you, what do they need to do?
Well, you know, certainly any kind of donation a person can make is greatly appreciated.
Okay,
You
so
don't-
some people have some money,
Yes.
some don't.
Right.
So if they have the funds available, I did notice on your site that they can even just use a card.
Sure.
Okay, so
Sure.
we know that.
Uh-huh.
What else if they don't have the cash?
If they don't have the cash, they certainly can look around their house, and they can see if maybe they have something that they don't need anymore. Maybe they have an extra microwave. Maybe they have an old refrigerator, or a fairly new refrigerator. Maybe they don't need that refrigerator that's in the garage. My goodness, we're so blessed here to have vehicles, to be able to put gas in our cars, you know, to be able to have a bed to sleep in. Maybe you have a bedroom you're really not using that you could, you know, donate a bed. Or maybe you just have the time to come down and help us load those trucks, or to help sort in our warehouse, sort through the clothes, sort through the items that are donated, or help us at one of our events, help us fundraise. That would be wonderful.
Super. Now with, gosh, you said what, 61% is the population of residents under 18 or
Yes.
18 and under?
Right.
So I'm thinking about especially school supplies, if they can even access school, but what about school books? What about things on DVD where
Generally, the
perhaps
schools will provide textbooks. So the schools are
they
doing.
do, okay.
And so we don't need textbooks. Here locally, Title VII through District 11 supports.
They're great.
Yeah, they're wonderful. And so part of what we do, as I said, is we support local natives, and we're really interested in helping local Native youth. So Title VII through District 11 is Native Americans as well as Alaskan Native American youth. And they are starting a literacy program. And they're looking for books on Native Americans to help keep the culture alive here. So they'd like to have a library, a giving library, for these Native youth to come, learn their culture. So whatever anybody can do, if you have some books on Native Americans that you'd like to donate to help the kiddos here, that would be wonderful.
And that does matter greatly. Being connected to your culture
Absolutely.
matters.
Yes.
I want to know even more about mine in Ireland.
Right.
It matters.
Sure.
You know, having roots is important. And again, it says, you know, I am a person of value, and this is where I come from, and these are my people. So you're making all of that possible. In that demographic of kids, I keep going back to that because I have such a heart for kids. Clothes. What's the situation there? You know, are they funded by any organizations in town? Are they receiving enough? Do we need to step in?
We're doing pretty good in the clothing department. We've had such generosity for us in clothing. So right now we seem to be doing good. We'll probably look at, as we get a little bit closer, maybe doing some coat drives. But right now things seem to be pretty good in that area for us. We're looking for more, you know, if someone had a car to donate, that would be huge. If someone had, you know, food is always an issue. Hygiene items are something we really need. Diapers.
I would imagine diapers always.
Formula. Things like that are, you know, and baby clothes are always needed. So if we were looking at clothes, baby clothes, and real young children, kids go through those so quickly. Those are some of the things we need.
Yeah, in about 5 minutes, actually. So,
right.
So yes, that matters. Is there a list of those needs on the site?
There are. Yeah,
Perfect. Okay. So, those were actually, you know, some happy things to talk about, and things that we can be proactive and step in. I'm looking at the stats again here. The teen suicide rate is the highest of any group.
It's tragic, sad. I've heard anywhere from 5 times to 10 times the national average is the teen suicide rate. It's just not acceptable. It's very sad. But when you live in a place where there are no jobs, you see domestic violence, you see addiction. These children don't see a lot of hope for their own lives, and it's just so sad to know that they're taking their lives because there is no hope. So whatever we can do, it's just so important to help these kids out.
Are you aware of any programs that are taking place around addiction, alcoholism, to meet with people, at least in El Paso County? Do we have some kind of outreach? Anything happening there?
It's available. I don't know if there's a native program in particular to help our natives who do struggle with addiction. It is a big concern.
Because I think that would be something of import that would really matter. One of the myths that popped out at me right away in your literature is about casino profits, because I think, well, they've got to be doing okay because they're making all this money off of casinos. What's the real story?
The real story is about 5% goes back to natives. That's it. They're really not making it. If you look at Foxwoods in Connecticut, they've had to file for bankruptcy. And it isn't going for bankruptcy. It's pretty tragic.
Okay, all right. The fact that more money is spent on federal felons than money spent on native health care.
Yeah.
How on earth does that happen?
It is absurd. So the diabetes rate is just through the roof. Tuberculosis, infant mortality, birth defects, fetal alcohol syndrome. Natives are not getting the proper care that they need to be getting, and it's tragic.
Does One Nation provide any courses on nutrition and growing food, being sustainable? Has aquaponics courses, anything like that?
Well, the exciting thing is that we are starting a mini agriculture program.
Okay.
So our mission to date has been loading trucks and giving gifts of hope to help people out. As you know, that's just it's a Band-Aid, but it has helped in so many ways, and it's helped many people. We will continue to do that. We're looking at now starting these programs. We're starting with chicken coops. So we're bringing chickens to the reservations, and we're going to do that locally here for urban natives. And these chickens will provide a source of meat. It'll provide eggs, and then we're looking at them helping to train other people in this chicken program, so they will educate other natives about raising chickens. And then we'll look at getting into mini agricultural programs where we're doing gardening, food production, but all of this is of course going to take funds for us, so we're just in the beginning stages of it, but we're excited.
There is a lot to be excited about. It's daunting.
It is. It's a big mission, but we're challenged in a positive way.
Right. I know you've got a great attitude. They couldn't ask for anyone better than you. They're very fortunate to have you on staff. Knowing you, the little that I do personally, I can tell all of you, if there's someone who can make this happen, it's Laura. So I do know that they've got a rock star on staff.
Thanks.
Who can step in and do this. but we do want to be able to help out. And I think that, anything that can be provided, and anyone in the community who might be watching, we all know the saying, we can either, give a man a fish or teach a man to fish.
Exactly.
And, we've got some wonderful companies in El Paso County and beyond, all throughout Colorado, who will step up. So
that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful if we find someone who would like to jump on board and help us in any way that they can. We greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
This year we are doing a few things.
Let's talk. Tell me what you got going on.
All right. So we are very fortunate to once again be chosen to be part of the IndyGive program.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's a fabulous program. So
Yes.
we're one of 60 nonprofits. It's an end-of-year fundraising campaign. Our plans for fundraising in November, it's Native American Heritage Month. So
Yeah.
part of our mission also is to go out and educate the community about our mission, to educate about the culture of Native Americans, the history of Native Americans, and what's going on right now in Native American culture. So we will go out to schools in November, and kids they light up. They love history. Their imaginations take form when we talk about Indians and Natives and Native youth. And kids, they love to help. So we'll go into schools, and we have friends like Eddie Three Eagles who will come with us. They'll tell stories, they'll play the flute, and
How exciting and fun.
it's going to be great. And we're going to ask the kids to do a Penny Pal drive, which will help Native youth and help us fundraise for IndyGive to help further our mission to help Native youth. So the kids will do the Penny Pal drive, and hopefully it'll be a friendly competition in their class. We're also setting up appointments throughout the country, actually, and Skyping other schools. We've got a school in New Jersey that we're Skyping.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, it's exciting. So that's what we'll be doing, and we're also going to do some fundraising events, so look for those on our website.
Absolutely. And I think that, the possibilities here really are endless. And I think we'll be seeing you back here again, telling us about your latest success and the things that are happening.
Thanks.
If you have any ideas or any way that you can think of helping out, please just contact us at the show. We'll also have all of the information about